And it's so beautiful to see just someone embracing the truth and trusting and going along with it. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk with you about a bit. You see, in a way, me saying who I am is creating a bit of a hang-up for some of you. Do you follow me? Because what's happening is, if I'm telling you all of this stuff, and then I say that I'm Jesus telling you all of this stuff, which is something I've got to do because of my own truth that I've got to stay in as well, the truth of who I am. What happens inside of you then is that there's this tendency to feel that, but you know, yeah, he's a nice fellow, and this is some emotion that's been projected at me at times. He's a nice fellow, but he's a bit nuts. You know, he thinks he's Jesus. You know, he must be a bit nuts, right? But you're here listening to me. So what does that make you? But the key issue is that many of you are also sort of feeling doubtful, right? You're still feeling doubtful. Doubtful enough to not try what I'm suggesting. And my suggestion is to allow yourself to at least try what I'm suggesting to you. Allow yourself to go into this childlike state that Jen has allowed herself to go into, and allow yourself to process these emotions on a pretty consistent basis and see what difference there is in you in 6 months. You know, have a 6-month experiment, if you like, and notice the changes in you. Now, if you do that, you will come to see that there is so much truth in what I'm saying to you, and that these things are the truth about connecting to God and yourself. All right? Now, many of you are going down the track of thinking, well, you know, AJ admits even to us that he's not at one with God yet. So that means that there must be lots of things he says that are not really true, that are not really right. You follow me? And then you go down the track of saying, all right, well, I didn't like that particular thing he said. So that can't be right. That particular thing can't be right, or this particular thing can't be right. My suggestion to you is this. If you do that, you are going to be diluting the divine truth that you are being presented with. And in particular, if you dilute what I'm saying about emotions, you get into this intellectual state, where you shut down yourself emotionally, or you tell yourself that there's other easier ways to process emotion than what I'm suggesting to you, you will find that you'll get off of the divine path and you'll be on the natural path. And that happens in a day. You can get off the divine path and on the natural path and then back on the divine path, back on the natural path. In one day it might happen 10 times. And my suggestion is to try to stop doing that, because it's just preventing your own progression. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. Allow yourself instead to be more open to what I'm saying to you about your emotions, and dealing with your emotions sincerely and truthfully as they really are. And don't try to make this like easier on you in the sense of, you know, trying to run away from different emotions that come up. This is a difficult process. Do you know why there's been no one at one on earth with God since the time I was in the 1st century? Because this is a difficult process. Right? It's not difficult for any one reason other than one, and that is I have to be completely humble to do this process. What is humility? Humility is having a desire and willingness to experience every single emotion within me as soon as it arises. That's humility. And I will need to be that if I want to progress on this path. And you can see there is so many things set up around the world today to stop you from doing that, to stop you from actually feeling every single emotion at every single moment and talking to God about that. Now, there's a lot of people who talk about emotional processing and emotional work, and they encourage you to feel every single emotion. But when they talk about God, they say, no, God doesn't exist. Don't do it with God. Right? So while they're processing emotion, that's half of the equation, but they're not allowing the connection with God, which is the other well, to me, it's the primary part of the equation. So allow yourself to do both, even if you have major issues with the thought of God. Allow yourself to begin developing a desire in you to have this relationship. Experiment with it. Allow yourself to truly give it a go, rather than just flirting with the edges. See, what I'm finding is that a lot of people who come into the groups are flirting with the edges of truth. Their soul is so attracted to the truth. They love being in this kind of environment, listening to these things. There's something that just sort of like grabs them like this and pulls them along, right, into the truth. But they walk away and get into the intellect again. So how do you feel when you're here? Most of the time, many of you feel very motivated to do this personal work, don't you? But then you get into your private world, and what happens there? There's lots of pressure, isn't there, to not do it. There's lots of things in your life trying to force you to shut down and tune out and get away from doing it. I'm saying allow yourself to start experiencing the emotions in the real world situations and really get into your emotions. And don't be afraid that you might cry for 3 months. You've got to do it somewhere. Right, here or in the spirit world, do it here. Get it over and done with so you can have a blissful life the rest of your time here, rather than waiting until some other time in the indeterminate future. Right? And don't allow this doubt that you feel about my own identity to interfere with what your soul is saying to you about the truth of what you're hearing. Do you follow me? Go, and sure, at some point in the future you will need to deal with what I'm saying, because the truth is there can only be 3 possibilities about me. Right? One is that what I'm saying, I know that I'm not Jesus and I'm just a charlatan. That's one possibility. Right? Another possibility is I've got no idea I'm not Jesus and I'm crazy. That's another possibility. And then the third possibility is that I am who I'm saying I am. Right? Now, there's only one possibility of those 3 where anything I'm saying to you is going to be of benefit. Right? And that is that if I am who I'm saying I am. If I'm one of the other 2, then what's going to be happening at some point, you are going to feel some very, very strong emotions about the truth or the untruth of me. Right? Sooner or later that will happen. And my suggestion to you is allow yourself to go through those emotions just like any other emotion that you deal with. The way I see it is there's something drawing you here. Follow that and see where your law of attraction takes you. You know that I'm not asking anything from you. Have any of you ever had anything asked of you by me? Have I ever asked anything from you? No. So you know that you are not in any danger from me. If you trust your heart, you know that, right? Now, I know other people tell you, oh, you know, he's saying that because later on he wants to do this or he wants to do that. Well, the truth is, you'll find out the truth about me sooner or later. But at least do this emotional stuff. At least start opening up, be truthful, feel the stuff, feel the emotions that you need to feel to progress. Allow yourself to connect to God. And test for yourself, really test for yourself, whether it works or not. And what I love about Jen's experience is that she has allowed herself to test whether it works or not. And she's had some really dark times, as she's just described to you. And she's allowed herself to test that, to test whether it works. And the more she tests it, the more she's convinced, isn't it? That's how it's working out. And there are times of doubt, are there not? There's times when you doubt that it's working.
But I know who you are. I've been telling you that you're Jesus Christ from the very first DVD.
Yeah.
I knew it. I've searched all my life for you. I feel such gratitude for you. And each time, even as a man, even just as a man, not with a label or anything else, the fact that you give up your time as an opportunity for me to at least listen to knowledge, let alone actually apply it and emotionally grow, I feel deep, deep gratitude. And every time I'm the one who says, thank you. And I'm saying it again.
Yeah, thanks, Jim.
But I know you are Jesus the Christ. I testify to that.
Thanks,
I'm saying it.
Yeah.
I know. And I'm so grateful.
Yeah, thanks. And like what Jen's done is just allowed herself to be humble. And she can work out the truth herself in the end anyway. And in the end, like some people have thought, well, she's just glorifying me. I don't feel that from her. What I feel is a deep love that she has for me, and it's beautiful. And that's all I feel from her. I don't feel, she's had times when she's wanted to argue with me.
I think sometimes you're an absolute pain in the neck.
There you go.
And the things that you say to me, I felt profoundly angry.
Yes.
But it's not you. It's not you making me angry. It's me angry
Exactly.
in me.
And that's where the humility that Jen has kicked in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Whenever she's felt angry with something I've said to her, whenever she's felt distress, she's just gone straight into this place of knowing that it's within her, knowing that it's, and that's why she's allowed this progression to occur. And it's also improved. A lot of things like spirit communication has improved, and other things have improved as a result. But in particular, there's this soulmate thing that's definitely bubbling along, isn't it? And there's a lot of joy that comes from it as well. Even though both for Graham and for Jen, there's been lots of times where it's been quite triggering, is it not?
You should let Graham talk.
I'm going to let Graham talk at some point. He's not comfortable doing it today, but
Another day.
another day. Yeah.
She can